Took probably roughly two-thirds of my business away, which is understandable because people were quarantined, they couldn't go anywhere, so what do you need to get your clothes clean for?
The pandemic has devastated so much in our lives, including the businesses that we rely on to get by.
If you're a consumer and you're buying goods or you're purchasing services, you're likely doing so from a small business locally.
Now, many of those stores and restaurants are closing for good, while others are just trying to hold on. But one thing is clear, even when the pandemic ends, these businesses and the job losses won't recover right away.
It's going to be a long slog back to the normal of 2019.
Tonight, team coverage showing you what's still open, the uphill battle local business owners face, and how it is impacting you, whether you know it or not.
Welcome into WRTV News at 6 on WRTV. I'm Amanda Starrentino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. You know, COVID-19 has killed thousands of Hoosiers, left hundreds of thousands sick, and has battered businesses so badly that thousands of people are now without a job. And it's not just individuals who are unemployed. Many businesses have closed altogether. And now small businesses all over central Indiana are at risk of shutting their doors for good. So with COVID being such a health concern for everyone, why should you care about what happens to local businesses? We pose that question to an expert on our local economy.
The success of local businesses is a key ingredient of the economic health of the region.
I would sit here for weeks at a time and there would be no customers.
And with that in mind, we send our team of reporters to find out how COVID-19 has crippled small businesses, how business owners are trying to make it through the pandemic, and the call to action for you, the difference you can make while also staying safe. We begin in Marion County with WRTV's Stephanie Wade, who's showing us that businesses are still open and they need your help.
In late February, just weeks before the pandemic hit, Dapo and Shirley Milligan opened Urban Beauty Supply here on the southeast side, not knowing what would soon unfold, forcing them to close their doors at one point.
I called into question, okay, did we do the right thing? At the right time and everything else.
Located at Emerson and Thompson Road.
I would sit here for weeks at a time and there would be no customers.
Dapo and his wife Shirley opened a full-service beauty supply store February 27th.
Hair extensions, accessories, things for your nails, things for gentlemen.
Only to have to close their doors weeks later and even for a month or two at a time because no one was coming in.
This is all we have. I can't continue to dig into a well, that has very limited resources. And it's, so what are we going to do now, honestly?
A dream business 2 years in the making. Their goal was to support local product makers, too.
Shea butter and whip butter and things of that nature, right? And so if we can support them here with that and getting the word out about what they do and we've got their products here, then that's what we're here for.
Milligan says it's been challenging to get any government assistance because they haven't been open long and worries what this pandemic will do to small businesses.
I literally had a young lady today come and ask for a job. Okay. Well, if we were at a point to where we could, yes, then I could hire her, right? So a small business, it's not always the big businesses and things of that nature, right? It's the small businesses that I believe are the lifeblood of our country.
Reminding people.
And we're here, and we truly want to be the hair care spot here in South Indy to a diverse crowd, to everybody.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
Since the pandemic began, We're Open Indy has shown you some of the local businesses that need your support. Today, WRTV's Troy Washington spoke with two Boone County small business owners who are open again and looking for ways to stay busy.
When you shop small, it's the one-on-one. It's the customized program. It's knowing somebody's name when they walk through the door.
Coach Z and his wife Wayshawn opened Indy Max Impact in Zionsville in 2012.
We've probably made more tough decisions in the past 8 months than we made in the past 8 years combined.
Here at Max Impact Fitness, they say it's all about adaptability. They've started renting out equipment and sanitizing more.
Great full body exercise.
That includes going strictly virtual in March and keeping the virtual option open to clients who don't feel comfortable coming back to a gym yet, even though their doors are open again.
Because I feel like small businesses in a pandemic like this have probably been affected more than anybody else.
And on Main Street over at Radiant Skin, Kayla Trammell agrees, but points out the resilience.
Within the community, the small businesses, restaurants, skincare, hair studios make up the backbone of the community.
She says supporting local pours directly back into the town itself.
And it's supporting a small business owner, and when you support them, you're supporting their family.
But she does want viewers to know it's a scary time for owners.
It's nerve-wracking because I think it's for small business owners, it's the unknown of what's going to happen. And numbers are rising, so it's like, well, what's going to happen?
Back to the lot, 10 seconds.
Like Coach Z, she's looked at right now as a time to adapt. She says now that more people are using Zoom and meeting virtually, that's increasing clientele.
People come in and say, oh, through this, I noticed that, I have wrinkles around here. So, they're like, oh, I need Botox. Or people are like, with the mask, it's drying people's face out.
Working for you in Boone County, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Well, it is the most wonderful time of the year to think about your community. Our Alyssa Donovan explains how you can help this holiday season.
Small businesses in Hendricks County hope that when you go holiday shopping this season, that you turn to local stores that you want to continue seeing in the community.
The most popular thing right now are these little dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are a hot commodity.
Toys, baby and toddler clothes, gifts, and pregnancy products are just some of the many items you can find in Tracy Amon's shop, Bottles and Binkies. The only thing missing is foot traffic.
Because I think right now being out in public is a concern for a lot of folks, and I certainly understand that.
After years of online sales, Amon decided to try brick and mortar. She signed contracts to lease a space before the pandemic. She finally opened her doors in June, just last month, moving to a new location for more visibility. But most of her customers still prefer to shop from home.
So the online side of it is definitely a huge part of our business right now, and I'd say that we're servicing a lot more clients through the mail than in person.
It's a similar story for Mitch Jenkins, owner of Timber City Coffee Roasters, another new business in Hendricks County.
We opened last year. We do specialty small coffee roasts. We do small batch coffee.
Jenkins offers unique coffee roasts, sample sizes, and a monthly subscription shipped to your door. He shares the space with Joy's Cakery, which offers cupcakes and custom cakes.
We decided that it would be very economical to go in together into the same space.
While people are still stopping in, most of their business has shifted to online orders.
A lot of people are scared to come in, so we do have that option of delivery. And I'll go out 2-3 times a week and deliver coffee to people.
New businesses like these need support to stay afloat, which is why these owners are hoping you keep them in mind when it comes to gift giving over the holidays.
If you can, shop in your community, keep your dollars local, keep your local businesses in business, because when this is all over, we want to still see them.
I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
Businesses on the far east side of Indianapolis also working to let people know they're still open. WRTV's Megan Sanctorum found out what challenges they are facing.
Small business owners here on the far east side say they are doing everything they can to keep their doors open and make it through the pandemic.
I'm smiling because this is my baby.
Michael Allender has poured his heart and soul into his small business, Kingdom Cleaners.
This is my life. This is what I do. I get up, I come here, and I go home.
He opened the dry cleaning facility with his wife back in 2014, but it hasn't always been easy. He says his wife passed away a few years ago, and now he's dealing with the economic impacts of the pandemic.
It took probably roughly two-thirds of my business away, which is understandable because people were quarantined, they couldn't go anywhere, so what do you need to get your clothes clean for?
And he's not alone. Other business owners in the area seeing the same thing.
The storefront was really slow.
Trayleek Tinker Martin owns Pinky's Sweet Tooth Factory. She just recently opened her location on Pendleton Pike and Shadeland. Known for their home-style meals and cheesecake jars, she too is taking it one day at a time.
Some days I'm just like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And then some days I'm just like, just gotta keep pushing, kind of tell myself, get up every day and come to work. Even if you get one customer, it's still better than none. We're trying to implement new things and offering curbside pickup, call ahead ordering.
Both she and Allender recently received grants through LISC, or the Local Initiative Support Corporation, something they say is a huge help.
Oh, that was extreme excitement. Extreme excitement. It allowed me to get my bills caught up, because even though the utility companies weren't cutting anybody off, they didn't stop reading your meters.
But at the end of the day, what keeps them going is support from the community and the relationships they're able to build with new customers.
That was huge for me. That was huge. Gave me a lot of hope.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
Economic experts say local businesses are a huge part of our tax base, so losing them is a loss to all of us. WRTV's Kara Kenny spoke with Dr. Michael Hicks, a Ball State professor and expert on Indiana's economy, about what the future holds.
Michael, can you tell us, why should consumers care about the financial success of their local businesses?
Local businesses, in particular small businesses, are key employers throughout central Indiana. They comprise 60 or 70% of all the jobs, all the non-governmental jobs in the region. The success of local businesses is a key ingredient of the economic health of the region.
So it sounds like if local businesses lose, then we all lose in some way.
Particularly smaller businesses that rely on face-to-face services like restaurants or bars or smaller retails have faced really steep headwinds. And so that, I think, is the overall drag that we're experiencing in the economy right now.
So what does the future hold when it comes to our local economy?
It's going to be 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years before the full permanent job losses that we've already experienced from COVID work their way out of the economy. So it's going to be a long slog back to the normal of 2019.
And for struggling small businesses in Indiana, there is still financial help available. The Indiana Economic Development Corporation says there is federal assistance available through economic injury disaster loans provided by the U.S. Small Business Administration. Applications for those are being accepted through December 31st. Also, the Indiana Small Business Development Center continues to help small businesses through existing and new COVID-19 specific programming funded by the CARES Act. For more info on that, go to isbdc.org and click on COVID-19 Small Business Resources. And you can see the stories of businesses around central Indiana in the We're Open Indy section of our website. What business owners and employees have gone through since the start of the pandemic, the ups and downs, how you can help, and what's open right now. That's all at WRTV.com/open. Kevin.
Hello, December. How about that? Quite the transition. Coldest temperature so far this fall, about 12 hours away. We'll get into that in a second. We're below freezing right now. We struggled all day. We only moved from 28 to 34. The wind is starting to calm down, but it's still west at 14 miles per hour. It's one of the ingredients that will play into our cold night. The low pressure area that brought the snow and the mixed rain snow yesterday is spinning now over areas in the Great Lakes, the eastern Great Lakes near Lake Huron. As you look at temperatures tonight, lower 20s for all of us. We've started the dry stretch. We'll talk about how long that will last in just a little bit, but the wind, as it calms down, lets temperatures fall down into the lower 20s. Some of you probably in the upper teens in the morning. We'll look at your weekend and what changes beyond the 7-day forecast coming up.
Another unwanted record. Today, the state confirms a record number of additional COVID-19 deaths in a single report. Data from the Indiana Department of Health shows 142 additional coronavirus-related deaths. A total of 5,598 Hoosiers have now died with COVID-19. The Department of Health also reports 5,518 additional cases of COVID-19. 344,373 people in Indiana have been diagnosed with coronavirus since the beginning of the pandemic. Governor Eric Holcomb and First Lady Janet Holcomb are now out of quarantine for the first time in about 2 weeks. The Holcombs were in quarantine despite testing negative for COVID. This came after several members of their security detail tested positive for coronavirus. But again, Governor Eric Holcomb and the First Lady never tested positive for COVID, and they are now both out of quarantine.
Every day, companies send us new jobs that are opening up as part of our Hiring Hoosiers commitment, and we bring you those open positions in our job feed. The Jack Lorry Group has 18 job openings. Some of the positions deal with flooring work, but there are many other types of jobs as well. To view them all, go to the job board at hiringhoosiers.com. Aerotech needs machine operators for its facility in the Shelby County community of Morristown. Learn more about all of these open positions by visiting the job board at hiringhoosiers.com and the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. There we also have a link to the application process. So those resources are really a one-stop shop to help you secure your next job.
A largely empty Mackey Arena for Purdue's home opener to the 2020-21 season. I'm Brad Brown. We're live in West Lafayette. Coming up, we will talk about a very unusual afternoon here, but a good result for the Boilers as they continue their early part of the pre-Big Ten schedule. That's coming up on the news at 6.
First lake effect snow of the season fell in northern Indiana. Of course, that cold air comes across the warmer, relatively warmer waters of Lake Michigan to help create the snow, almost 4 inches in LaPorte. The water temperature is 45 in Michigan City. The Chicago Lakeshore water temperature about 48. For us, temperatures tonight are headed into the upper teens to lower 20s, as I mentioned. As far as high pressure, it sits to the northwest. So the snow that you see to the east, Lake Erie, on into New York State will continue to pull away. We'll be on the cold side of high pressure the next 24 hours. Temperatures right now at or below freezing across the metro area. 29 in Martinsville, Edinburgh at 30. Statewide temperatures, not much different. There's very little temperature range from 30 to about 35. The 20s, that's where we'll wake up tomorrow morning. We'll have a larger temperature spread tomorrow. Probably 20 degrees from morning low to afternoon high instead of just 6 degrees from morning low to afternoon high today. 43 tomorrow, much calmer wind and more consistent sunshine. There'll be more clouds, especially southern half of the state Thursday. Friday temperatures right at average for this time of the year in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, temperatures are coolest north and east, still struggling to hit 40, anywhere from Peru to Marion, Muncie, Winchester, Portland, and Richmond. Otherwise, lower to middle 40s. Temperatures Thursday about the same, despite the cloud cover, especially in the southern half of the state. There are the temperatures, not much changes, really not much changes again on Friday, except we get some sunshine back. As you look at your weekend forecast, the chance for any precipitation is minimal. Saturday, a 20% chance. We'll see some rain, may mix with a snowflake depending on the timing. Then we're back to dry conditions Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Notice all 7 days with lows in the 20s, one exception, 31 on Friday morning, and then highs in the 40s. Beyond the 7-day forecast, which will take us into mid-December, indications are we'll have above average temperatures. Notice, though, the highs slide. The average high 41 drops to 39 by the end of that stretch into mid-December.
I'm glad we're getting a little warmer. Well, the Pacers are just 3 weeks away from starting their new season, and the team will be sporting a very Indiana look for several games.
Yeah, we're getting a first look at this year's City Edition jerseys that you see there. They're inspired by the colors of our state's flag. The pinstripes that you see there, well, that's a throwback, to the team's uniforms from 1997 to 2006.
And also, did you note on this one?
That's ours.
Number 6. Brad Brown's got some Tuesday basketball for us. He's live from Mackey Arena on the Purdue campus. Hey, Brad.
Mark and Amanda, Pacers jersey's looking good. Purdue looking good here today as well. Let me tell you, this was just an unusual afternoon. The 3 p.m. Tuesday start time was probably the least unusual thing of all this. Of course, college basketball being played largely without fans all across the country this season. That will be the case here in West Lafayette. There were a few bodies in the stands. We'll discuss that here in a second. Purdue with their non-conference opener here at home against Oakland University, coming down here from Michigan. We take a look inside here today, and it's kind of exactly what you saw here right now. Kind of quiet. The fact is, they're piping in some crowd noise in here, but it's just kind of a low roar that goes on all throughout the course of the game, and it's really strange. Team scores, there's no real roar to it, there's no booing, there's no real cheering to it. 14,000 fans would have been here normally, but the empty bleachers broken up by a couple hundred or so cutouts of fans and characters, folks making some donations to the university to get their pictures in here. They've got a lot of pets where the paint crew would normally be. I can't quite figure the whole thing out, but anyway, it looks like something. going on here. Once the basketball gets going, though, it's just another game. It was close for the first 10 minutes or so. Purdue opened it up with some steady three-point shooting in the first half. Sasha Stefanovic had the hot hand. He knocked down 6 triples, led the Purdue scoring in the first half. 7'4" freshman Zach Edey playing well again. His learning curve has been fast, and today he had 13 points and 7 rebounds. Brandon Newman, the redshirt freshman from Valparaiso, was effective all day. The top scorer for Purdue with 21 points. Once they got settled in, a solid effort. 17 threes made. They only made 16 twos, but that kind of day, Purdue rolls to the 93-50 win. A good first look here on the home court.
Got to be ready to go from the jump on any of these non-conference games, and it's different with no fans and everything. You can't really rely on that for energy to get going right away. So, you know, it's just one of those things. You got to be ready, and we started hot early with our shooting and kind of translated the rest of the game.
This week we put a lot of time in for their zone, so I thought we were pretty prepared for it. And like you said, our ball movement was key tonight because we need to move the zone and get them moving.
Couple more pre-Big Ten tune-ups here at home. Purdue plays Valparaiso on Friday. They're scheduled to play Indiana State here on December 12th. The Big Ten home opener is on December 16th against Ohio State. IU continuing action in the semifinals of the Maui Invitational, relocated to Asheville, North Carolina. Hoosiers taking on Texas earlier this afternoon, and it was Trace Jackson-Davis leading the Indiana scoring with 17 points, an early and one. The problem is the rest of the team scored just 27 points. IU loses 66-44. IU plays at Florida State next week, the Big Ten ACC Challenge. And Bankers Life Fieldhouse has some big college basketball games going on this week. It includes tonight, Kentucky playing in the Champions Classic, and number 1 Gonzaga is going to play here a couple times, including a big game Saturday with number 1 and number 2 Gonzaga and Baylor. Time for another break. Back to wrap up the news at 6 next.